The best advice that I would give was in a matter of, or in a position of not knowing what I wanted next, or maybe even what I really want. I started the process of writing down, journaling, and taking account of the things that I did not want. And I know that I don't want this in my life. I know that I don't want to feel as though, I have these blocks or these limitations. And I know that I never want to feel this again.
Yeah.
And suddenly it started to come to life for me that I did know what I wanted through that process of taking stock of the things that I did not.
Jonathan Gibbs here at DoorCon 6 with Abby Buchmiller. This is such a treat. I'm so excited.
So am I.
So this is actually gonna be fun for me because, and along with the people that are watching this, I actually don't know the answers to any of these questions yet because we haven't spent any time together last year. What have you been up to last 12 months?
Last 12 months have been interesting.
Yeah.
I started consulting solar companies
Okay.
primarily, which has been really, really fun.
Okay.
Able to impart a lot of my own lessons learned, share the value, help companies that have been in similar spaces that I've been in before. And
Yeah,
so
I love
that's been
that.
really rewarding.
Yeah.
Also, we just recently launched our new site survey as a service company called Radical Services.
Yeah. So Radical. So the name of the company is called
Yeah, Radical.
Radical. What regions are you in?
Right now we're in Texas. We have 900 bookable survey spots not getting taken today, so we need to drive some sales.
Yeah, that's
We're
huge.
also in Florida and we're in California.
This is great because site surveys is, both of us have run lunch for other companies.
Yeah.
It's, if you don't have enough volume, it can be just a loss, a center of loss, right?
Absolutely.
It can cost $150, $200 to send one person out in a
Yeah.
remote area to get the site survey. So if you can get it as a service and get it reliable from a company that knows what they're doing, it can be a huge value, and it can actually be a lot cheaper than doing it in-house.
Absolutely. We ran a report showing a lot of costs from a lot of the companies I've been working with. And on average, companies are paying over $700 to $1,000 in some cases per survey. The problem is you're running two different logistical operations, right? You're running your installation org, but you're also running these site surveys.
Yeah.
And so as your sales fluctuate, you have your costs that are never really on point and consistent.
All the soft costs.
So to
that
be
are
able to
moving.
say to a company owner, a solar company owner, hey, you can actually predict and expect standard costs on this survey process, and you can launch into a new market and test the market for sales within a week or two. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think that's great. Can we talk about some personal stuff?
Please do.
Okay, so we have a lot of salesmen and women that watch this podcast, and January is a season of a lot of people that have started over. Either they've transitioned from pest control to solar, or some of them have transitioned from solar to pest, right? To go backwards.
Yeah.
Maybe they started with a new company. But the idea of like starting over, right?
Right.
In a new thing from scratch, sometimes feeling all alone. This is a hard thing that a lot of people go through that
It's so hard.
you are no stranger to over the last 18 months. Talk to me about this process of starting over and what you're learning from it right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You actually gave me some good advice as a friend and said, sometimes the redirection is a gift, and sometimes you can sing a new song, right? I'm gonna quote you poorly, but it resonated with me at the time, and it resonates with me now. And I spent the last year to a year and a half in some interesting places in my mind, because I wouldn't say that I had it all or that I was on the top, right? But I really got my world rocked, and I think starting over at the beginning for me looked a lot like I had attached my entire identity as a person to a business that no longer existed. And I really lost my sense of self for a minute, which is crazy because I've always, thought of myself as being so confident in who I was. And I found myself going, am I supposed to be an entrepreneur? Am I supposed to be a leader?
Yeah.
What am I here on this earth for? I knew enough through the experiences and wins that I had that I do have a strong purpose, that I'm here for something. And so a lot of time alone, a lot of time getting to know myself over again, and really walking into a path based on this feels very good and fully in alignment, and I'm not sacrificing anything was just so important to me in the starting over process. And so
Were there
it's
some
raw.
things you did or read? Were there experiences that sort of helped you with this discovery? Because this last year for me has really been a lot of self-discovery. So I'm really interested, what kind of things created that self-discovery for you?
I think the best advice that I would give was in a matter of, or in a position of not knowing what I wanted next, or maybe even what I really want. I started the process of writing down, journaling, and taking account of the things that I did not want. And I know that I don't want this in my life. I know that I don't want to feel as though, I have these blocks or these limitations, and I know that I never want to feel this again.
Yeah.
And suddenly it started to come to life for me that I did know what I wanted through that process of taking stock of the things that I did not. And I would say that's a really good process. I'd
That's
recommend.
really good. Like start with what you know what that makes me think of? It makes me think of like the statue of David, and Da Vinci was asked, like, I think it was Michelangelo actually was asked, like, how did he sculpt the statue of David? And he said, the statue of David was always there. I just chipped away the pieces that weren't the statue of David.
That got me. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Talk to me about, because for so many people, especially in sales, with the rejection and the emotional highs and lows, the battle that we're really fighting all the time is in our mind.
Absolutely.
And I think, the entrepreneur fights that all the time. Have you discovered things over the last 18 months that have helped you win that battle of the mind? Like, what is...
Absolutely. The first thing that comes to mind for me, most of my existence is me versus me, and me versus my mind, because I very much can get stuck in loops of overthinking. And entrepreneurship brings out the best of me in that way, and also the worst of me in that way. Meditation, from just an easy answer that just means so much to me. I've had the most profound experiences over this past year through exploring and deepening my love and my practice of meditation. And
so what does meditation mean to you? Because it's like this big term.
It's a
that
huge
actually
term.
means, I actually did a study on meditation years ago.
Did you?
So it comes from, so the Hebrew word meditate actually means to mumble, to literally say over and over and over.
Wow.
And that comes from the Eastern methodology too, of like when the monks they would meditate on a word or a phrase for like years.
Wow.
What does meditation mean to you? Like when you say meditate, what does that look like?
Well, it's funny because I've always been someone that said I can't meditate because I can't quiet my mind, right?
Okay.
And so for me, the lean in happened when I leaned in through breath work. So specifically signing up through a breath work exercise and allowing myself to go through the breath work process.
So meditating starts by changing your physical body first.
Absolutely.
And then your mind.
Absolutely.
Then what?
It's taken I would say just signing up for those opportunities, like trying something new, going through the breathwork process. And, a few different key moments happened during very deep breathwork exercises. I'm going to sound a little weird in this moment. And that's okay.
No, it doesn't sound weird at all.
Where I actually, was able to envision people who I had, a lot of wounds around. And I was able to feel as though I was tapping into their own pain and their own drivers. And anytime you're able to pull yourself out of the situation and see it from another perspective, it's, the biggest gift in the world. And it wasn't until I had a few of those and they were just so profound for me that I went, I'm going to daily try to put in my headphones and try just the typical, meditation type guided. And it's a practice. It's like anything else. And
they teach us Navy SEALs and deep water dive. I mean, this is how they teach people to hold their breath for like 3 to 10 minutes.
Wild.
Is by calming their thoughts and actually slowing down their pulse and their heart rate to where their body consumes less oxygen.
That's
for
crazy.
3 to 10 minutes at a time. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It really
Our bodies
is.
are amazing.
So meditation, maybe one more thing that helped you overcome the battle of the mind.
I would say learning to have the same extreme empathy that I have for other people for myself.
Oh, this is so good.
So hard.
This is so good. All right. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to connect to this. So I'm excited for you to share more on this, which is we tend to judge ourselves harder than other people. Some of the best performers I had at Lumio or Smart Energy today, I would literally say, like, just treat yourself like you treat your people right now, because you're such a good manager and you're being so hard on yourself. You would never treat anybody on your team this way.
Right.
So what helped you move from intellectually recognizing that to doing it in practice?
I think I had to go to the drawing board a little bit, and I had to put myself in positions where I was able to remind myself of my strengths, my creative spark, those areas where I'm like, you got to give it to yourself like that. I'm good at this. And I had to just
some positive self-talk.
As an entrepreneur, you put yourself in so many arenas every day where you're learning on the fly and you suck at whatever it is you're doing until you get better, right? And so years and years of applying that pressure to yourself paired with the inevitable self-doubt that comes with, I forgot the term, syndrome.
Oh, imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome, and then when you have a failure, you go, that voice maybe was right all along, right? And so taking stock of those things and reminding myself, not hearing it from any external sources, but reminding myself, this feels good. This is where I'm supposed to be. I can see my own strengths, talents, abilities, and also my massive heart as a value instead of beating myself up for it sometimes.
That's really beautiful. We got to do a longer podcast. We need to get in a room and do a longer podcast. This has been a lot of fun. Be good to yourself. If you were the best sales rep in your organization and you had tons of potential and you wanted this sales rep to have a great experience and a long-term career with you, how would you treat and talk to that person? Talk to yourself that way. Be kind to yourself. That's really good.
So
2023, be good to yourself. Abby Buchmiller, Door to Door Con 6.
Thank you.